keep tabs on what is going on around the home, I've installed a bunch of different security systems. Now this is nice that I can see a lot, but the problem is I need 5 different apps to go into to see exactly what is going on. That's just really inconvenient. The other problem is there were neighbor kids that were throwing mud at part of my home and I missed it because I wasn't covered in one of the areas. And then I also don't feel like I've added enough security cameras because of that, but I only have 6 PoE drops or power over Ethernet locations that I can add around the home. But today we're going to install a new security system that's going to solve all these problems. This right here is the eufy NVR Security System S4 Max. This has so many cool things built into it. So first of all, the NVR is your hard drive. It has 2 terabytes of hard drive. So that's going to be plugged in my network room. And then we're going to plug in my Ethernet cables into those that are then routed out to where the cameras are located. And it's going to give them power. So I don't need to run any extra cables or wires around the home. And then this comes with 4 different cameras. And each of these cameras have multiple cameras. So I'm going to be able to see a lot more. Each one of these is able to do the work of 2 different security cameras because these are pan, tilt, zoom cameras. So you're able to see in all directions. And then up here you have a wide angle to see a lot more. And then you can even expand this up to 8 different cameras, or you can expand the drive up to 16 terabytes. Tons of different things. I already have the Ethernet cables routed in my home. So I think it's time to go ahead, get the NVR set up and get these cameras installed. A huge thank you to eufy for sponsoring this video. Let's get started. First up, let's check out what is inside the box. So here we have all of this inside the box. I didn't know it was going to come with everything you need, which it does, which is awesome. So first here we have instruction manual to get that all set up. Over here we have our 4 cameras. So you can see that each camera has 3 different lenses, 1 here, 2 here, and then this can pan, tilt, zoom, move around. Then here we have the power cable. Right here we have the Ethernet or RJ45 port. And then here you do have a DC power that I guess you could use as backup as well. But these do run over Ethernet. So that's how they're going to receive power, and their data connection is over the Ethernet. Then those also come with mounts over here. So you can mount it from the top down or on the side. If you're mounting it on a wall or something, you can do that. It comes with a weatherproof casing for the Ethernet. It comes with screws, stickers. Over here, it comes with 4 59-foot Ethernet cables. So if you don't have Ethernet cables already run through your home, you can go ahead and get these and then wire them throughout so that you don't have to go and buy and make your own Ethernet cables, which is cool that these do come included. So that's really nice. You have 4 of those. Then we have the NVR system. So built into here is 2 terabytes of storage, expandable up to 16 terabytes. And then on the back here, we have a bunch of different ports. So here we have the power cable. So we're going to plug that in here. We have an audio out. We have a Type-C port. Not sure what you would use that for, or the USB. But then you have HDMI. It does come with a HDMI cable, so you could output to a monitor. Then here, this is where the LAN port is going to plug directly into your router. Then you have your 8 PoE ports, which is really nice because I already am full on my PoE switch. So I'm going to take all those, put them on here, and that gives me some more room for other PoE devices. Now, this does support 8 channels, but it is expandable up to 16 channels. If you really need that many cameras. Here we are going to use these 4. And so that is pretty much the NVR. It also comes with a mouse as well as an Ethernet cable to go into your router system. So really cool that all of this comes within that package. Now they also sent me 2 other options for PoE cameras. So if I want to expand beyond the 4, I could also get these, but I'm going to try them out. So here we have the PoE Cam E41, which is a turret cam. So there you can see it's going to mount on the ceiling, and it even has red and blue warning lights, and I believe all of these do. And then here we have the PoE Cam E40 Bullet Cam, which there it's just a mounted camera. It's not moving around. All of these are viewing 4K on the cameras, and then they have lights and sirens and spotlights. I think I might try to add these as well in some other parts of the home. So might not need them outside, but might put them inside. So now let's go ahead and get started by connecting this to our router and then testing out connecting a camera. I could get them connected all inside, and then I will go outside and mount them up. All right, I've moved everything here into my network room. So the first thing that we're going to do is get this set up. Now, this is going to be my monitor or a TV if you have one to be able to display all this information. So I'm going to start with the Ethernet cable. That's going to plug right into my network switch and then here into the back. Then over here, I have compiled all the different cameras that I have already wired. So I have 6 different cables that I'm going to use over here that are wired into the home. I'll need to splice the ends on some of them outside and in here and extend some of the cables to get them plugged in over here. But if you don't have those already installed, those were put in by the builder when we bought the home. I had them put them in certain locations. Again, you would take this and you could route it. I actually have a video on how to route your own Ethernet cable that I'll leave linked at the end, but that's where this is going to come in handy. You can hide it, plug it in here, and put it to the first drop with your camera. So now that we have that, next thing I have HDMI plugged into here. Then I'm going to plug in the power, and here this is booting up, and there we have a screen that we can utilize. So let's walk through the steps of setting up the NVR. Then I'm just going to use the mouse to click through and get this set up. We're going to set up time zone, the admin password, as well as connecting it to our network, and it does have a pop-up keyboard so that you can input everything with just the mouse. And once I have finished that, then it's taking us to the screen where we can see our camera. So let's go ahead and plug in our first camera. So I'm going to do it right in here before I head out and get these installed. So I've plugged the other end into PoE 1, and now we're going to plug it into here. And that is turning on.
Setup was successful.
And I didn't have to do anything, and that has already been set up. Oh, there I am. Hello. There you go. Now you can see me. So there at the top, you see that wider angle. And here you see the PTZ camera that is moving around. I'm trying to see who is there. So now that setup was so easy to do, just needed to plug it in. There's no Wi-Fi to connect to because it's hardwired in. So we have a lot of controls right on here. Down at the bottom, we have an option to do the warning. We can turn on these spotlights so you can see everything a little bit brighter there. Then we can do playback. We can turn on voice so we can hear them. Then I even have the option to go full screen. And let's see, I can do, this one is movable. So if I go to this one, I can then drag it around just like that. So this is super fun to play with. And then we have all kinds of little settings and stuff down here at the bottom. So I plugged a USB-C cable in the back to my little laptop thing that I have here from NextDock. And hey, my mouse and keyboard works. Pretty cool. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead into the system settings. And I'm going to go over here to check for updates, and we are going to upgrade to the latest software. After completing that update of the NVR, it also went through and did an update on the camera. Super seamless, didn't have to do anything. So far, this has been very easy. Now let's connect it to the eufy app. Now the next thing I want to connect it to the eufy app, so I'm going to go to settings here, and then I'm going to go to system, and here at the top under information, I have a QR code that I can scan to add it into the eufy app. So here in the eufy Security app, I'm going to add a new device, and then I'm going to tap the scanner up at the top, and then here I'm just going to scan the QR code, and we're going to add this into Brett's home. And here it's going to run us through the steps to get the NVR set up, which I've already done. And here we're going to agree to permissions and location and allow it to connect to nearby devices. And then it wants me to scan a QR code on the NVR system. And we're going to push the sync button. All right, it has been added. Pretty simple. And then all the cameras are being added to other smart assistants and things like that. So right here, we have one of the cameras already plugged in, but I didn't reconnect it. Here is another camera I've connected and some other cameras, and then all my other eufy cameras. So already this is looking so good, having everything in one. Looks like I still have a few more cameras to add. And before I head out to install the cameras, I did get all of these put in place. So now these are connected, and then they should automatically connect once I get the cameras plugged in. Now it's time to mount the camera. So we have a few different things that we can do. Well, I'm going to try and do this without falling. So first off, you want to orient this in the direction you want it to view the entire yard, as the bottom part can rotate in any direction. So this rotates at the top here. We can angle it like that. And then we have the bracket there that could be mounted on a wall if you want to, like that. But then we also have it where you can mount it from the top down, and it attaches to the back like that. So there are 2 screw holes in there, and I'm going to attach them to the metal plate that I have for my Ethernet box here. And that will allow me to then attach this right out here, and then it will be mounted, and I can then twist it the way that I want it. And then I also need to put a hole so we can thread this into this hole and into the box. So a little bit of work to do there, and then it will be secured, and this will be out of the water, and it'll be plugged in and powered, and we can move on to the next one. All right, here is what I came up with. I used a 1-inch hole dozer to put a hole in there, and then I used some self-tapping screws to put into here, and that mounted the bracket. So now I can just place it on like this, and then I'll be able to attach my camera. Be careful when you add the self-tapping screws. I got it off center, so there's a little metal. Could cut something, but it's not going to. Anyway, let's put this on. And before we do that, we do need to thread the cord through there. So that was pretty easy to do. Let's plug it in. Now here I could put the weatherproofing sleeve over this end, but I'm not going to. Now we're going to add the camera, which kind of slides right into place. Now we screw these in to lock it into place. And now for orientation, so this can go all the way that direction. We can turn it all the way this way, so lined up with the bracket there. But I think we're gonna go this way. We can take this off, and now I have the option to adjust the top one. So I can pivot it down, and then here, this will automatically change in the app, and we can adjust the rotation and everything like that. So now we're gonna head into the eufy app to double check exactly where those are looking. And here you can see our camera and where it is positioned. So I could rotate it this way, and you can see the bottom one is where I'm kind of positioning that and what I wanna see. So when that looks good, I also have the option to go up more. So if I wanna see the sky a little more, or we can go all the way down. So right under there, you can't quite see my hand right here, but you can see it right there. So pretty close, but this will, of course, we'll be able to go all directions. So not too concerned there. Now it is recommended to have this at 7 to 10 feet high. I believe I'm a little bit higher than that, so I'm not able to get as much of the lower area as I would like, but I think that looks pretty good. And then here at the top one, I can swipe up or down to change the position that I'm looking at. You can even set presets on where you want it to be, but again, this can go in all directions. So I will be able to see everywhere. The other one isn't seeing, but it's nice that you do have a constant view, and then you have one that can move, and it will actually follow from one camera to the next person. So we're gonna add a camera right next to this to be able to get that to work. On to the next one. So if this is your first time doing networking, I would recommend getting one of these as a Fluke toner. So I have it plugged in. I had to make this cable, and now I'm going to see where this is because I don't have a connection here. And here is the other part to that. So I'm gonna hold down on here and touch the cables, and it will sound when I hit the one that I need. No, not that one. Ah, this one hiding right there. Everything is now installed. Let's do a quick recap and some lessons learned on how the install went. So on the first one, I thought it'd be easiest just to put it right on the mounting plate for my Ethernet cable there. But in the end, this didn't end up looking as good as I wanted it to, but I do like how it is outside on the edge to get a little bit more around the gutter there that is going down. So this was okay. I think the next one did better. Now, next up, I did it over here on the side. I didn't put it on the edge because I have these permanent lights that I couldn't move out of the way. So I ended up deciding to put it on the wall of my home, and it looks so clean. This looks really good. For the cable at the top to go into the little box, I did have some leftover black conduit that I was able to just wrap over the white cable so you don't even see that. Looks really clean. It took a little bit, but they had the mounting plate to screw in the holes. It was super seamless. Got it installed and then put it in the location I wanted it to. This one was awesome. Now, another reason I didn't want to put it on the mounting plate is because of the angle of the roof. It would have made it way too high, so putting it on the wall was the best option. Now, with this next one, there was no slant, but putting it on the wall still looked great. I love how it was right up there at the top. It's kind of hidden in this little corner, and it's in a perfect spot. Now, this one was pretty challenging because I had the gutter in the way, and it just was in an awkward location, but I wanted it right up front as close as possible to the front of the home, so it worked pretty good. I ended up just covering up the cables with that black conduit again, so they weren't seen, but I was able to mount it right up to the soffit. So I put a few extra holes in the mounting bracket, and then I have the cables coming out the back, and I'd say this looks pretty clean. And showing from the other side here, the camera is following me. It's kind of fun to see that, but there you can see a little bit more of how that was done. So there it's coming right out the back to my Ethernet box right there. And here's the bullet cam on the inside. I had an AP point routed here, so I ended up putting the camera and just mounted it right into the plate. It doesn't have any automatic moving, but I was able to position it in the perfect spot to see the entire room. And for the garage camera, this was very simple. I just needed to put the mount in and then position it where I wanted it and tighten it and plug it in. Worked easy, no problems. With all the cameras now set up, let's take a look at the NVR and see what we can do. So right here, when you jump on, you have the live view main screen. So it's going to show all the cameras, and these all automatically were added once I got them connected. So at the top, you can easily lock the NVR. You can do video cycling, where it's then going to switch between all the cameras you have. So if I turn this on, here at the bottom, you can see I have 2 sets of windows. So once it goes for that for a few seconds, then it's going to switch to the other one and back and forth, so you'll always see those popping up. Next, we have live setup. So if we want to organize how these are working, we can do that. So up here, I have this one where I'm actually going to delete it. I want to cover all of this page with what is available here. So I have those. I can then go in and take this other one that's not on this page. So we go over here, the PS4 5. We're going to delete that camera, go back to the main page, and then I can drag this camera right over there and fill up those slots. So now we have all of those outside cameras right on there. Pretty simple to do. So we're going to apply those changes. And then up here, we have the option to go full screen. So it's just going to take them really big. And let's say we want to go into the garage here, so I can make that full screen again. And then we have it displayed. And you have a ton of options down here at the bottom. You can turn on the warning sound. You can turn on the light. So as soon as I do that, it turns the light on there. You can see it went to full color instead of the infrared. You can turn on the sound so that you can hear what is happening there if you have a speaker plugged into your NVR. And then over here on the left side, you have some different settings, so you can adjust the HDR, you can adjust the brightness and contrast, and then here you even have your night vision options. So there's 3 of those. We have standard. Oh, got a crazy bug going in here. We have spotlights, where it's going to turn on those spotlights and be the color. Then you have infrared. So it's just going to use the LEDs that are infrared to lighten up. So if we go to standard here, you can see it's showing just a little bit there, but all those options right here, really cool. I can then quickly go back and we can see all of the images on one page. So really cool how much you can see with those cameras that I have added. Now right here at the top right, you have a button that can see all the recent events right here, so you don't even have to leave your live view, which is really cool. But then over on the left side, we have a bunch of different options. We can go to playback. So that's going to show all the recent images from the different cameras. So if I click on one of the cameras, you can select what camera you want. So if I want to choose a different camera, that one's the outside, I can select this one instead, which is inside. And then it's going to show other cameras at the same time as that one. So you can scroll through, and here it's recording 24/7. So I can go back to a certain point and see what was happening on multiple cameras. Really cool. Then we have events, where it's going to show all the events from all the cameras. So here, if I want to find a specific event, I can click on this. Oh, there we got a cat going through our yard. And right there, it even tagged with the local AI that there was a pet. That's one of the big things about this, is the AI it has. Really excited to try out the AI search in just a bit. And then down here, we have different settings. So one of the first things you might want to do is go to your equipment. Here it's showing all the equipment, showing resolution that they all have, and firmware and everything. But if we click on one, we can then go up here and change the recording mode. So right now I have it set to record all the time. I can change to scheduling, not scheduled, continuous, or just event based. Over here, you'll see that we've already used 62% of the NVR because we're recording 24/7 and on 6 cameras. So a lot of cameras recording onto this one. So it is going to replenish and overwrite pretty often. So if you only wanted to save those events, you would come in here and change that. And you can do that per camera. Now, next, if you go under settings, you can then go through and give these different cameras a name. So you'll be able to know exactly where they are. And then you have a bunch of settings where you can turn on the microphones. So by default, the microphones were off, so it wasn't recording any sound. You can come in here, turn those on, as well as for the recordings. And then you can turn the speakers on as well, so that it can hear you from the other end when you're talking through it with the two-way communication. And just tons and tons of settings. You can see for the light settings, you can have it always on, you can have it motion activated, just everything you would want in your smart security camera right there. So here at the top, you can see that we've used 62.5% with the 4 4K cameras, 2 4K cameras as well, 6 of them plugged in over PoE, and no Wi-Fi cameras are connected to this. Next, we have alert, so we can go in and adjust the alert settings where at a certain point it's then going to sound the alarm or the lights. Here you have the system, so I ended up coming back in here and changing the time zone because I wasn't showing the original time zone when I set it up. So there I found my proper time zone, and I haven't played with any of this, but there's more info that you can learn about. You can see the storage and all of that. Oh, right now we can set the output resolution to 1080. Oh, see if that changes anything. Oh, and here you can change the video cycle interval. So again, lots and lots of settings. You can go to the log and see what has been happening with the NVR, different updates, and locking, unlocking being used. And then down here we have face recognition. So as the camera is detecting things, it's going to detect faces, and you can go in and organize those. So I've already labeled that I'm the father, this is a face, and here we can go into her and we can say that this is a child. So here we're going to label Claire and confirm. So now every time it recognizes her, it will tag her. Pretty seamless right there. And that's pretty much it. Super simple, but very powerful, and a lot of details that you have right here in the NVR. In order to download clips while you're using the NVR, you will need to attach a USB drive to be able to do that. So here I have something I want to save from my garage. So I'm going to go over to the event. So we can come up to the top and filter that down, but it looks like this might be the clip I want right here. So I'm going to open that up. I can watch it, see if that's the clip. Yes, it is. And then I have the option right here to download that. And that is then going to download it right onto the USB, and you can choose low or high quality. And there you go, that saved really quick. And then you can take the USB and put it in your computer and easily access it. Now, one feature I was really hoping that the network video storage would have is being able to do a time lapse. So if you go to the playback and you choose the camera you want, here we're going to go to front yard, and then we can browse through and listen to all this. But if I click the download button here, it gives me the option to select a range of time. So let's say I want to download these 30 minutes of footage. So if I click the download button, then it's going to search and download that. So I'm just going to do a low quality. And here, let's see how long that takes to download a 30-minute clip. Here it's showing that it's breaking it up into multiple sections of about 600 megabytes. Cool that it did that. Then I can go through and create a time lapse with those different documents. So that's what you can do with the NVR here right on its interface. Pretty cool. I love how it's so simple. I have the mouse here connected to it that I can use. So you just need the monitor and everything else plugs into here. Now I also have the option, if I wanted to use this in a different room, I could get a long HDMI cable and plug it into a TV so that I could view this on the TV. So I might do that in the future. Really cool that I could see all the cameras at once. And I think you could even do a Bluetooth mouse or a one with a little dongle so that you could control it from afar. Really cool that you have all those options. Now I think it's time to go and test out how these cameras work. Now that we have our POE Cam S4 installed, let's talk about the tech that's built inside that Bullet-PTZ system. Built into the top of the triple lens system, we have the fixed 4K wide angle camera. This is able to see 122 degrees of an ultra wide field of view, and it stays there. So you'll always have this view there no matter what the other camera is doing. Next, you have the dual 2K PTZ. So PTZ again is pan, tilt, zoom. So this is able to see 360 degrees. So as I move around, you can see that it will follow me no matter where I go because it's able to keep track of me. And even as I head to the backyard, it will still follow me around the home. Now that's two lenses attached together. One of them is showing you a 1x and then the other lens is a 3x. So you can get super detailed with this, and then that's able to tilt 360 degrees and at 70 degrees with 0 blind spot. And then the second camera on there has an 8x auto zoom. So it's able to get really detailed on what is going on outside your home. Now let's talk about how these are working together. So as the fixed camera sees an object, it automatically shows on the PTZ and tells it where to go. So it can instantly find me, and then as I'm moving around, it's able to follow me no matter where I am going. Now another thing that's great about the PTZ camera is it's able to see up to 164 feet away to continually track an object.
Now let's take a look at what this actually looks like in real life. So I got the sun blaring on me right now. But from the top camera, this is what I look like during the day as I'm moving around, as well as this is the sound coming from the top camera. And then there we have the PTZ camera, where we have the 1x zoom right now. Let's go ahead and jump to the 3x, and there you can see how it just really zooms in on my face, and you can see exactly what is going on. So it's really cool that you have both of those options to be able to view all from one camera.
Now another big benefit to these is you don't need to have 3 cameras on the corner. You're able to just have 1 or 2 in some cases, and you will be able to see everything you need from corner to corner of your home. One of the biggest benefits of having the dual camera system is where the PTZ camera can track me and follow me where I'm going. Maybe somebody else is running through and it will be able to see both of those things happening in real time.
And they could come in and hit me with a beach ball. Next we have the POE Cam E40, and this has all the great features. We have 24/7 video recording, we have 4K Ultra HD, we have color night vision, on-device AI, spotlight on right now, I just turned it on, but so many cool things, also weather resistant. So this is going to be great. I just have this in the garage for now, but you can see everything in great crystal clear clarity. And here is the POE Cam E40 turret cam. So it's just stagnant, just stays there. Has a 123 degree field of view, records in 4K Ultra HD. It is weather resistant, as well as has color night vision, and then some spotlights on there. So really good. Now, if you are doing audio, you do have to go in and turn it on to record, as well as if you want the sound to play, you have to turn that on as well.
It is now the middle of the night. Let's test out how the different night modes work. So the first night mode here, this is using the starlight sensor. So there is a little bit of light here in the front yard. We'll test some other areas where it's not as bright, but here you can see me pretty bright as day because any light is able to expand on the light there. You can see how this is working, and you can see how the camera is tracking me. So right here, you can see that as without the camera, it's just kind of nighttime. There's a little light, but with the camera, then it goes night. So that is the standard night vision. Now here on the spotlights mode, it starts off infrared, but then as soon as it sees you, it does turn on those spotlights, so it brightens up, and then it's able to use that starlight sensor so it can see a lot better, a lot more clear, and in color. So even though it's nighttime, it's able to brighten up, and this works great in those darker areas. We'll get to those in a minute. Now the camera on top has 2 LED lights, and then the PTZ camera has 1 LED light that is following me around. All right, now the third option is infrared mode. So you probably already saw what this looks like, but there when you turn on infrared, it is black and white, and you see the infrared lights, and you're able to see a lot more. So if it's pitch black, you could still see this. All right, here is the next area, the side yard on standard night vision. Now it didn't turn on the IR because it already has enough light here, but you can kind of see it's following me here with the license plate, going all the way back here and all the way up here. It's kind of creepy when it follows you. All right, and here is spotlight. So it is turning on all 3 when it detects me. Oh, and there it went to the infrared. All right, this is in the backyard in the darkest place, so there's no like natural lighting other than a little light inside. So you can kind of see me. It does have a starlight sensor, so if there is a little bit of light, you're able to see a lot better. That's why in the front yard you see a lot more light and it doesn't have to turn on the LEDs. Now this is the standard night vision mode, and then there is an enhanced one that does turn on the lighting. So I've now turned on the standard with the enhanced lighting. The IR LEDs are on, so it should just be night vision now. There you go, that's what that one does. And here in the backyard, we have motion activated lights, so you can turn this on. This is the 100% brightness, very bright, all three IR LEDs. And as I'm moving, you can see that bottom LED is moving as well, following me. So it's illuminating the path that I am following. My camera barely could see anything back here, but the lights definitely helped. And then it'll turn off after 30 seconds. I have now turned on the red and blue lights. Let's go ahead and add the alarm. It's at 70%. Let's see how that sounds. That's pretty good. Neighbors are not gonna like that. And it will go on for 30 seconds. Now I know I've covered a ton in this video, but I wanna really show you how capable this system is totally incorporated into my home. Check this out. Here in the eufy app, now I go in and I can see all the cameras. Now this isn't only showing the NVR cameras, but it's also showing other eufy cameras I have. So I can now go through and see the front yard, the side yard, the patio, the other side yard, the garage, the loft, the trampoline, front door, and the front side yard. So the mission of this video was to do that, and it has now been accomplished. Now I do have a foldable phone, so I can see more on one at a time, one screen at a time. But look at that, I see everything at once. This is so awesome. Really cool that I am now able to do this, and I don't have to go to a bunch of different apps. Everything is right here. So now I want to show you a couple other tweaks you can make within the eufy app, and then we're going to test out the AI search and how well that's going to work. So first off, here one of the cameras is showing a lot of the neighbor's yard, and I don't really want to see their yard, or just to protect their privacy, I want to hide it. So I can go into the settings here, and I can go into the video settings, and then I have an option for privacy zones. So here we can add a privacy zone, and what this will allow me to do is I can then hide their garden just like this. So here I can add one box there, check. Then I can go ahead and add another. So just depending on how much you want to kind of block out. There you go, I have my tree in there. So now I have a much more private view that's mine and not seeing all of them. So I can talk to them about, hey, I have cameras, but they're not spying on you, I promise. So that's one way you can do it. Now there even is a way to do it on the PTZ camera, where as you move it, it keeps that one spot hidden. So really cool. I can't find that right now though. Now other things that you have on the screen, down here you have the option to just record what you're seeing, take a screenshot. You can do two-way talk as long as you have enabled the speaker and microphone. Here you can do the pan and tilt. So if I want to go in and pan and tilt this on this view, I am able to do that. I can do the zoom in. Then I also have the option here to turn on the sound. If I go to the next screen, I can turn on PTZ linkage, so that will make them link together. Here you can turn on and off AI tracking. You can go to the playback. You can turn on the spotlights. You can turn on the night vision, and you can do 360 look around. So it's automatically just going to be kind of panning and finding out where different things are. So a lot of that in there. Up here you have the alarm, and then there's still a bunch more settings that you can adjust on each of these cameras. One feature I'm really excited about is the new AI search. So there's an option on the eufy app as well as on the NVR. Let's try out the app here. So right at the top, we have this search bar. So if I go in here, it's automatically showing people I've tagged and then other recommended items. So if I tap on me, it's then going to show me all of the times that it has seen me. And it doesn't matter what camera it was because it's all integrated together. There you can see it's different cameras, garage, front yard, side yard, all of that. So that was great. That was so quick. Down here, I could go and search for cars as well, or people walking. Let's go ahead and see if we have any dogs with a human. So I haven't tagged anything like that, but right there, it automatically found all of these people, and we have a perfect shot of a dog walking with a human. There you go. Now I can do that so fast. If we go back here, we also have the option to go over to this search icon, and we can quickly find a human wearing certain colors. So let's go ahead and find a human wearing a gray shirt and tap confirm. And I'm guessing it's going to find, that's right, human on the patio, which would be Theo. There you go. He is there running around, mostly gray shirt. I was thinking I was going to find my wife as she was in a gray shirt today. Oh yeah, that's the one back here. There she is. Found her in the gray shirt. Pretty good that it was even way down there in the back and was able to find that. Let's say I want to see a vehicle, a blue vehicle, and you could specify what type of vehicle, but we're just going to tap confirm and see what it can find. And let's just pull a random video here. There you go. It found a blue Amazon truck. That was pretty great. And right here at the top, I also have the option to just search anything I want. So if I want to see when FedEx came by, I can just simply search FedEx and it will then pop up all of those. And if I open that clip, you will see that that, of course, is a FedEx truck. So I love how simple that is to be able to find different things. And you can add maybe a little bit more context. So when was the mail delivered? And hit search. Let's see what it pops up here. And boom, there we go. It found the mail truck delivering the mail right across the street. And I can see that was about 2:35 p.m. In here on the NVR, I can just head to events. And at the top here, you will see a nice glowing search bar. So here we can type in whatever we would like and hit search. And then it will find anything that has that query. So here we see a green garbage truck and there's all kinds of green trucks that it has seen. One more feature I'm really excited about is cross-camera tracking. So as one person goes from one camera and moves into another zone of another camera, it's going to be able to follow them and hopefully it will be able to follow them all the way around the house because of all the cameras I have. So let's go ahead and set that up. First, I'm going to head to the Services tab, and then here we have cross-camera tracking. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to make sure that is turned on, and here we're going to choose the cameras here that are plugged into the NVR that will work. Going to tap save, and now it's going to enable and continue on all these. So it's making sure they all have human recognition turned on so that this can work. All right, so it says now that they're turned on, do you want to test it out now? Walk in front of your cameras, check the cross-camera tracking video in the security report. Okay, that was pretty much it. Now there is another option to enable cameras, and you would go through here and you can match up how the cameras work and track with each other. So we can go through and try this. Let's go ahead and do the patio and then set up the real camera. So that's going to go to the side yard. Okay, so here's patio. Then here's side yard. And we can choose which one it's going to be. So then it's going to go from here to here. Ah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so now we can do that with another one. So the side steps, we would say once they go from here over to here, add that location. Okay, I think I have that set up. Let's run outside and see if that's going to work. All right, I'm back. Let's see what it did. So right here on the homepage of the Eufy app, we have a security right up here at the top showing that I have 206 events. So if we click on here, it's showing that Brett was seen and appeared in 4 locations, 4 clips have been stitched together. And here it's showing other people. And then as we go down, it's showing other things that have happened. So if we click on this event, right there, you can see that it took my 4 different cameras, put them together, and is showing how it works. So I started in the front yard and went backward to the side yard. And there you can see the side yard clip. Then it's going to go and show the patio clip. So there it showed that I went around this way. And then it's going to go into the other camera on the other side as soon as I was picked up going around the home to show where I was. So it's so cool that everything was pieced together. Now you can even tap on the retrieve tab down here and it's going to show you even more things together. So it's going to show the other camera from the front yard view. Then it's going to jump to the side yard and go through one by one and show all those. And then you should be able to tap the footage and download it all. I ended up just going to the NVR and downloading everything. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Cross camera tracking. This is how it works. So that camera is positioned to look towards me, but the other one is kind of always over in this corner. So as it alerts me here, then the next camera is able to say, oh, we know what's going on. He's over here. So then it follows me and looks at me this direction. And then as I go through, it's going to follow me, where then the next camera's preset position is already set to be looking at me. So now both cameras turned right towards me. And as I move over this way, and continue on, the next camera is already pre-positioned to see me as soon as I get to right here, so that it can then start tracking me. You failed me, camera. You're supposed to be looking at me. There, it started to track me, but did a pretty good job of seeing me in all directions all the way around the house. Now that was so neat being able to see me go all the way around the house. What a great feature to have. Now, in conclusion, this has been a really nice NVR system. One of the biggest things I want to highlight about this is after you do the initial purchase, there is no subscription to be able to do all this. There's no cloud service that you need to be able to do everything I showed in this video. Every other camera company is charging monthly fees to have 24/7 video history or history longer than a few days, but this is all local on the device. You can go in and go to the NVR and download all that footage. You can even download longer footage without having to pay a subscription, which is itself a huge benefit to having something like this built into your home. Now, some of my other favorite features is how I had access to everything from the eufy app or the NVR. I found that the eufy app was great if I was just looking for a certain clip, but if I wanted to download multiple clips, you can just jump onto the NVR. You can download multiple things at a time and get them very quickly to your storage device to then look at or save for the long term. So it's very capable on all the things that it can do. Now, a lot of my videos, I'm recording my yard to do robot mower videos. So being able to go in the NVR and download longer periods of time is going to be so nice to have. Now, I love how each camera has its own settings. So I can go into each of them and choose the different night vision settings, or I can have some of them record audio or not. And there's a ton of other things I didn't show today that you can go on and adjust in each of these different cameras. And then the addition to the camera tracking, which you showed, and the AI search is awesome. If I want to go in and see when the mail was delivered, I can do that in a few seconds. Or if I want to see which way my boy ran off to, it can track his face and figure that out for me as well, so I know which way I need to be running. So there are so many great things built into the new eufy NVR security system. So if you have any further questions about what it can do, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to get a discount, there's going to be a 15% off code down in the link in the description. You can pick up yours today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.